All right, how you guys doing today? We about to get into 1 Corinthians chapter 7. First things first, told me she like that video, hit a little exit full screen, scroll a bit, like it, and then full screen it back up. You feel me? So I finished watching the sermon. Oh yeah, so with the food for the stomach for food, what he was saying was that's how they kind of justified everything. But it's the same way looking like your body isn't your body for the desires of the body. It's the body for the desires of the Lord. Your body is a member of Christ himself. Shall I then take members of Christ and unite them with a prostitute? Never. And I really like what he said when he said, before I put myself in front of something, or, put myself in something's way, you have to remember that Jesus is with you. Your body's a temple of God and the Spirit and Jesus. So whatever you're doing, you're telling Jesus, hey, yo, bro, pull up. You know what I'm saying? So take, for example, if you ever have, if you have a younger sibling, your mom's like, I'll take him to the park with you so you guys can go play basketball together or something, take him with you, essentially. It's kind of like that. You tell your mom, all right, I'm going to, let's say the bar, for example. And she's like, well, wherever you go, you have to take your little brother too. You can't take your brother to the bar. Not only can he not get in, but it's also just not the right environment for, let's say, an innocent person to be in. Now, it's two types of innocent. Your brother's innocence would be, you're not supposed to be around all these grown people doing all these grown people things. But Jesus' innocent is, okay, one, he's not supposed to go look at women with lust, because then he's committing adultery in his heart. So it's that type of innocent. And two, he's not supposed to be getting drunk at the bar. It's another type of innocent. He's not supposed to be, possibly fighting people. That's another type of innocence that you could mess up for him. So wherever you going, have to remember you taking Jesus with you. And I fell victim to that today. I'm not gonna lie, but I really want to spread the gospel to people, bro. I really do. But something is holding me back, and I know that I just need to do it. Because once I do it, in my brain, it's just gonna be a competition. How many people can I really get this to hit? You know what I'm saying? How many people is this really gonna stick to? So I be seeing these people do it, and I'm thinking, yeah, you can tell they just kind of like, oh, you're gonna pray for me, okay? And they're gonna just, it's not gonna really hit them. But I guess the message is, you got the message to them in the end anyway. But I wanted to get the message to people, and I wanted to stick, which also may be another reason I'm hesitating, is because if I know I can't do it at 100%, then I can't do it right now. But I think I just need to get out of my comfort zone and do it. Really gotta do it. Now, for the matters you wrote about, it is good for a man not to have sexual relations with a woman, but since sexual immorality is occurring, each man should have sexual relations with his own wife, and each woman with her own husband. The husband should fulfill his marital duty to his wife, and likewise the wife to her husband. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but yields it to her husband. In the same way, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but yields it to his wife. Do not deprive each other, except perhaps by mutual consent and for a time, so that you may devote yourselves to prayer. Then come together again, so that Satan will not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. I say this as a concession, not as a command. I wish that all of you were as I am, but each of you has your own gift from God. One has this gift, another has that. Now to the unmarried and to the widows I say, it is good for them to stay unmarried, as I do. But if they cannot control themselves, they should marry, for it is better to marry than to burn with passion. To the married I give this command, not I, but the Lord. A wife must not separate from her husband, but if she does, she must remain unmarried, or else be reconciled to her husband. And a husband must not divorce his wife. To the rest I say this, I, not the Lord. If any brother has a wife who is not a believer, and she is willing to live with him, he must not divorce her. And if a woman has a husband who is not a believer, and he is willing to live with her, she must not divorce him. But the unbelieving husband has been sanctified through his wife, and the unbelieving wife has been sanctified through her believing husband. Otherwise your children would be unclean, but as it is, they are holy. But if the unbeliever leaves, let it be so. The brother or the sister is not bound in such circumstances. God has called us to live in peace. How do you know, wife, whether you will save your husband? Or how do you know, husband, whether you will save your wife? Nevertheless, each person should live as a believer in whatever situation the Lord has assigned to them, just as God has called them. This is the rule I laid down in all the churches. Was a man already circumcised when he was called? He should not become uncircumcised. Was a man uncircumcised when he was called? He should not become circumcised. Circumcision is nothing and uncircumcision is nothing. Keeping God's commands is what counts. Each person should remain in the situation they were in when God called them. Were you a slave when you were called? Don't let it trouble you. Although, if you can gain your freedom, do so. For the one who was a slave when called to the faith in the Lord is the Lord's freed person. Similarly, the one who was free when called is Christ's slave. You are bought at a price. Do not become slaves of human beings. Brothers and sisters, each person is responsible to God should remain in the situation they were in when God called them. Now about virgins, I have no command from the Lord, but I give a judgment as one who by the Lord's mercy is trustworthy. Because of this present crisis, I think that it is good for a man to remain as he is. Are you pledged to a woman? Do not seek to be released. Are you free from such a commitment? Do not look for a wife. But if you do marry, you have not sinned. And if a virgin marries, she has not sinned. But those who marry will face many troubles in this life, and I want to spare you this. What I mean, brothers and sisters, is that the time is short. From now on, those who have wives should live as if they do not, those who mourn as if they did not, those who are happy as if they were not, those who buy something as if it was not theirs to keep, those who use the things of this world as if not engrossed in them, for this world in its present form is passing away. I would like you to be free from concern. An unmarried man is concerned about the Lord's affairs, how he can please the Lord. But a married man is concerned about the affairs of this world, how can he please his wife? And his interests are divided. An unmarried woman or virgin is concerned about the Lord's affairs. Her aim is to be devoted to the Lord in both body and spirit. But a married woman is concerned about the affairs of this world. How can she please her husband? I'm saying this for your own good, not to restrict you, but that you may live in a right way, in undivided devotion to the Lord. If anyone is worried that he may not be acting honorably toward the virgin he is engaged to, and if his passions are too strong and he feels he ought to marry, he should do as he wants. He is not sinning. They should get married. But the man who has settled the matter in his own mind, who is under no compulsion but has control over his own will, and who has made up his mind not to marry the virgin, this man also does the right thing. So then he who marries the virgin does right, but he who does not marry her does better. A woman is bound to her husband as long as he lives, but if her husband dies, she's free to marry anyone she wishes, but he must belong to the Lord. In my judgment, she is happier if she stays as she is. I think that I too have the Spirit of God. This is a mega long chapter, bro. And I'm not even for real about anything in this chapter. I don't understand none of this, but I think this is what I need to see. The one thing I super don't understand is brothers and sisters, each person as responsible to God should remain in the situation they were in when God called them. But we were slaves, and he even said that. Because verse 22, for the one who is a slave and he was called to the face of the Lord's free person. That makes sense, because you were a slave, but the Lord freed you. Now you're the Lord's free person, but somebody, the one who is free, is now Christ's slave. This part makes sense, but what do you mean was free when he was called? Yeah, je ne comprends pas. The sermon on this is gonna go, I guarantee you, it's probably like 4 parts. Maybe he only has 2 parts. Okay, I guess I was wrong, but still. Chapter's a break. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that up to Pastor Paul right there. All right, that's gonna be the end of the chapter. Hope you guys have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. Peace.